fear. What do you think it means to be fearful? Or what do you think it means to be fearless? What happens when the path you thought you were going down ends up completely different than what you expected? And what do you do going forward when you have to face that uncertainty completely on your own?
I'm a mess, 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 mess. I'm a mess, 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 mess. I'm a mess in distress, but we're still the best dressed.
When faced with a goal or a problem in life, what is your first response? Do you fake it? Or are you going to be your true self and find that path despite you not knowing what's ahead of you, just because you know that it's better for you to be your true self when facing that problem rather than to pretend to be someone you're not and go down the path that everyone else follows? When rising up the ranks to rule the world, would you do it the way that everyone else did it, where the path is clear, the easy way? Or would you find your own way to do it and once again follow that path of uncertainty? No matter how much you try to fake who you really are, in the end, it'll always come back to you. I'm going to take you on a journey about the K-pop group SSERAFIM. A story about self-discovery, fearlessness, the unknown, and most of all, what's forbidden. Now, SSERAFIM over the years has had a plethora of songs. Not all of them retain to this story, but most of them do. The story of SSERAFIM follows a trilogy of 3 different EPs: the Fearless, Anti-Fragile, and Unforgiven EPs. Fearless being the first, Anti-Fragile being the second, and Unforgiven being the third. Let me take you on a journey as we go and discover all 3 of these EPs and the story that they tell. So, SSERAFIM starts releasing music back in 2022. Now, after looking through these songs and these EPs myself, I've come to find my own interpretation of these. I think that the story of SSERAFIM through music is a journey of fearlessness in the face of the unknown and your ability to create your own path through life. You'll find that throughout these albums, SSERAFIM goes through these different phases where they slowly come closer and closer to their final revelation of self-discovery. Their story is a reminder to us what it means to be your own person and what it means to be a follower. This story isn't just meant for some nice songs and a good dance to go with it.
Although I do want to point out that they are very good and very catchy.
This tells a story that's more relevant to us than ever before with how society is today, especially with people in high school. A flawed reality that everybody goes through when growing up, and one that SSERAFIM learns all too well within the progression of these albums. And in their first album, Fearless, you'll start to see first examples of who they were at the beginning. But first, let's think about it. What do you think it means to be fearless? What do you interpret fearlessness as? Maybe the idea that nothing can stand in your way? An unwavering sense of dignity and strength within yourself? Let's find out when we look at SSERAFIM's idea of fearlessness and what it means to them. Beginning with The World Is My Oyster, SSERAFIM has a very strong mindset. The world is mine. I own the world. The world pushes you down and takes you away from your goals. The world tries to change you. I'm not satisfied with this world. I want to rise above the world. I want to take over the world with my strength. I am fearless. The world is my oyster.
The world isn't perfect. 그렇다면 私は強くな I wanna take up the challenge. 나는 꺾이지 않아. I am fearless.
In this first song, we're introduced to what SSERAFIM is currently. They're a strong group of 5 or 6 girls who try to take over the world. And another person that I would like to interpret as a character is the world itself, who, just like our world, in this story encapsulates a controlling nature where everyone under it is forced to be under this structure and live a certain way. But The World Is My Oyster is about how SSERAFIM's passion is to rise above all of that. Using their overwhelming energy and power, they want to take over the world. They want to rise above it. They want to be better than everyone else who is suffering under this earth. The World Is My Oyster. The World Is My Oyster is the first song of this album where we are introduced to what I like to consider 3 themes and 2 characters. The 2 characters being SSERAFIM themselves as a group, as one, and the world. The themes being fearlessness, controlling, and wanting to rise above it. The World Is My Oyster tells a story of SSERAFIM's dissatisfaction with the world and how the world is controlling and holds them down. And that's what fuels SSERAFIM's firing passion to rise above and rule the world. The world is mine. I own the world. The song following The World Is My Oyster is Fearless. What you'll notice a lot in these albums is that the second song is always the same name as the album itself, which to me represents that song itself encapsulates the theme of the album in its entirety. So with this song Fearless, SSERAFIM's strong goal to reach the top is ever intensified in this song. I want to climb and reach the top of the world. I can feel my overwhelming passion and energy. I don't care about my past. All I'm looking is forward. I am unstoppable. SSERAFIM is flying to the top faster than a highway, letting their confidence send them higher and higher up, and their never-ending sense of pride. But as you'll see in these future songs, that pride and power takes them down a path that no one else has been down. Now from this point on, I feel like I'm going to have a much different opinion than Hutiful, who is the person that I'm taking a lot of inspiration from in this video. He says that with these 2 next songs, it shows them rising to the top and being themselves. But I wanted to look a little bit more in depth with these songs and try to really see what's going on in them. So, starting with Blue Flame, I think it represents the idea of this unknown path that was hinted on in Fearless. How the rise to the top is going to be full of the unknown, and how SSERAFIM deals with that in and of itself. A small blue flame leading me into unknown fog. Even in times of uncertainty, I will continue to be myself and find my own way. The blue flame burns ever so brightly. As long as it's burning, I'll never stop my grind. The flame itself represents the idea of them being their true selves. As long as that flame that keeps them being who they are is lighted, they'll keep going forever. They'll keep rising and rising to the top, regardless on what's in front of them, regardless of the unknown path they're taking. They will stay fearless like they have been and rise to the highest of ranks and take over the world. Now, The Great Mermaid delves deeper into this desire, where it's a flip of expectations on The Little Mermaid, which is a fable. In this fable, the fish, Ariel, gives up her voice and her tail to find what she believed was true love. But from the SSERAFIM's perspective, they don't want to sacrifice shit. They don't think that sacrificing anything is worth it. As the badasses that SSERAFIM are, they never give up, and they will never sacrifice anything to find what they truly want. This is another example of them following their own path, where the normal path would be sacrifice. To rise to the top requires sacrifice, but for SSERAFIM, they don't do that. They find their own way to get through it. It doesn't matter what the world wants them to do or what's supposed to happen. They'll find the way without doing anything that they're supposed to. You need to be yourself. You need to find the third path that the world's going to present to you. And that path is the path of uncertainty that you need to find a way through using that fearlessness that you have. And knowing SSERAFIM, they'd never have any kind of doubt about anything, right? They're gonna keep going until the very end. Right? Sour Grapes, which is the final song in this album, shows a sense of doubt that SSERAFIM's never shown before. Now, Sour Grapes is about the expectation of something sweet, but then the twisted reality of it truly actually being sour. And SSERAFIM's idea of that is what really brings them to this somewhat self-doubting sense of thought. They talk about this kind of love, which can be interpreted in many ways, but I interpret it as their want, their need, their feeling to get to the top. I want you so badly. I'm waiting for you to fall right into my hands. But in reality, you're so far for me to reach. I feel like I'm gonna be hurt if I try to chase you. I feel like it won't be as sweet as I thought. I'm scared to try it. I don't want to anymore. I didn't like you that much from the start. I tricked myself into believing I did. That's all. Maybe I should wait. It's not my time. Your love is sour. Love for you is sour. Like grapes. SSERAFIM starts to feel a sense of doubt in themselves, where they start to believe that maybe they didn't want to reach the top in the first place. They didn't like it that much from the start. And they come up with these ideas like maybe they tricked themselves into believing that they did. Maybe it's not their turn. Maybe they should wait. Maybe they should restart. And that's the idea of Sour Grapes, that when you're not quite starting, the grape seems so sweet. It seems like something you want to try, but when you finally take that bite, give it a try, you start to attempt. You start to realize how sour it really is. And that unknown path you followed truly was unknown. And you start to face adversity, conflicts on that path, and what it does to you.